Hey, this is Jeana at Art of Skincare, and today I'm going to show you how to use the skin flower to do an organic facial using the Botnia products. We're going to use all 4 modes of the skin flower and we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's do it. The protocol for today's facial is available at artofskincare.com. Just reach out to live chat and ask them for the PDF of the skin flower organic facial, and you can have the recipe to use at home. Step 1 in your facial is to choose a cleanser that is friendly with the skin flower. So I am going to be using a cleanser that has very little foaming. Of course, you want to use a cleanser that's water-based. Everything we're going to use with our skin flower is water-based. I'm starting with the Botnia Gentle Cleanser. This cleanser does not really foam up, which is kind of nice. I'm getting a little tiny bit of water in my hands, rub together, and you can see I've created a little bit of foam, but not a big foam. I apply that to my face, neck. Now, the thing you always have to remember with your skin flower is that everything has to be wet. Nothing can be dry on the face. So I've got to add more water to my skin. So I'm getting my hands wet, lots of water, and I'm just adding more water to the cleanser. Now, because I'm doing this treatment on myself, I need to be careful not to get product in my eyes because the product would sting. So I'm being careful. I've chosen a cleanser that does not foam up too much, and I've chosen a cleanser with no active ingredients. There's no acids in here. So now I'm going to turn my device on. I'm going to push power, then I'm going to push sonic, and I'm going to push high. And now I'm ready to remove the cleanser from my skin. Now, as I work the device over the skin, I'm going downward and away from my eyes. I'm doing that so that I don't get soap or cleanser in my eyes. On the forehead, I'm going to go sideways and go across, and you can even close the side. Close one eye, the side that you're working on. Go down the side of the nose, lips, face, and neck. Now, the skin spatula can also be used going up, but when you have a cleanser or something on your face, that's going to spray up into your eyes. So when using your skin flower with a cleanser or another product, you're going to want to go downward. You're also going to want to have some tissue on hand, because you can see as I'm going over my face. Let's do the other side now. I've got to add more water to my cleanser. I'm going to go downward. And you can see the cleanser building up on the spatula, so I'm going to wipe it off and then continue working the face. The chin. And a little more water. The neck. Now, when I use my skin flower, I am using very light pressure. I'm not pressing this down into the skin. I'm just gliding it over the surface of the skin. If you push too hard, you can leave little red tracks on the skin. It won't hurt your skin. Those tracks will go away, but you don't need to use that much pressure. This thing is sonically powered, and it doesn't need a lot of manual pressure on it. Now, I want to make sure that I've removed all the cleanser from my skin, so I'm going to get a little more water. I'm just going to run my hands over one more time. Make sure I've got all that cleanser. And then I'm going to grab a Lush cloth. Here we go. And I've got it nice and wet. And I'm going to run that over my face just to make sure that I've got all the cleanser off my skin. All right, step 2 in our facial is to do an exfoliation. And with the Botnia, I love using natural enzymes. So Botnia has a weekly digest mask. This contains enzymes. Enzymes digest away that top layer of dull, dead, dry skin cells. So that way your serums and moisturizers can penetrate better and your skin just looks nice and glowy. So I have a little teaspoon here. I'll show you. It's about this size. I'm going to use about that much of the enzyme. I'm going to put that into a small cup. And I'm going to use, you can use one of 2 things. You can use the Botnia Rose Water Tonic, or you can use the rose geranium hydrosol or their juniper hydrosol. What I love about Botnia is that their bottles are all glass, recyclable, so no plastic there. And then you can buy refills. So when I use up this rose tonic, I can buy a refill to refill it. And that is just so awesome. Not very many skincare companies are doing that yet. So I love that. So today I'm going to be using, let's do the rose geranium hydrosol. Every season they come out with a different hydrosol with a different set of oils, and they're just really fun. It's a nice way to change up your routine. So for that much enzyme, I'm going to add in about 10 squirts of hydrosol and see how that mixes up. Got that inside there. I need to use a little bit more, so we want about equal amounts. I'm going to add a bit more in there, about 20 more squirts. And I'll show it to you when I have it mixed up nicely here. So my consistency is, just a little thicker than water, like a light baby food consistency in there. Now I'm going to take these enzymes using a brush. You could use your fingers if you need to. I'm going to use a brush and I'm going to apply it to my skin. Just getting a little bit everywhere. And then apply with the brush. Right across the lips, forehead. Now with an enzyme, you don't want the skin to dry out. You want the enzymes to stay moist, and that's how they stay active. So if you need to, just spritz with water to keep your enzyme moist. So I can leave this on the skin for about 5 minutes. I can re-wet it as I need to. And then what I'm going to do is, before I remove it, I'm going to go ahead and spritz. I'm going to spritz with some isocell recovery solution, just so my skin is good and wet. Then I'm going to use my skin flour, and I'm going to use it again on Sonic. So I'm going to push power, I'm going to push Sonic, and then I'm going to push high. And now because I have enzymes on my skin, I don't want to use this going towards my eye because it'll fly up into my eye and it won't feel good. So I'm using it in a downward motion. And I can shut the eye where I'm working. I can use a tissue to wipe off some of the enzyme as I go. The forehead, I'm going to be careful not to spray it down into my eyes, so I'm going to go sideways. And now my skin is feeling so smooth. Now I'm going to use a lush cloth and make sure I've got every last bit of enzyme off my skin. So I might get my hands a little wet, massage the enzyme around again, the leftovers, and then I'm going to use my lush cloth and remove every last trace of the enzymes. Now the next step that I want to do with my skin flour is extractions. Now if I've got a lot of little sebaceous filaments around my nose, areas where I have more pores, forehead, T-zone, I can use the skin flour just to pop out that sebaceous filament. If I have some deeply embedded blackheads, I can loosen those up. Some of it we can get off with the skin flour, and others we can loosen up enough so that they then easily extract after this treatment. So again, we need to have wet skin. So you can wet your skin with either water or you can use Lemieux Isocell Recovery Solution. When I'm doing extractions, I like to use water because I don't want to worry about getting the isocell in my eyes. So I'm going to get my face nice and wet with my water. I'm going to turn on my device. I'm going to hit power until it turns on. Then I'm going to do Ion Plus, and then I'm going to turn it on the high mode. And from there, I can begin to work different areas where I know that I have some clogged pores. Can go around the forehead, the nose, cheek area, my skin starts to dry out, I'm just going to add more water. Lots of water. I can wipe off anything that I get out of my skin on a nice tissue. I love to do the mouth area. We can get little blackheads and little congestion around the lips. More water's needed. Constantly loading the skin up with water. Now, if you have one particular blackhead somewhere that's just kind of being tough to get out, I wouldn't try to get it completely out with the skin flour, but what you can do is make sure the skin is wet and go on that area, use your little pointy corner here and just apply some gentle pressure to that spot for about 2 minutes. And then go over it. I'm being very gentle. And then later when you finish this, you can usually use 2 Q-tips or gently use your fingers and you'll be able to roll that blackhead right up out of the skin. All right, now this is a full-length facial that we're doing today. This is just like I would do for you if you came into my studio for an hour and a half facial. And so we have lots of steps. We've done our cleansing, we've done our exfoliation with an enzyme, we've done some extractions, and now we're gonna use a nourishing mask to really put some nice nourishing ingredients in my skin. With Botnia, I have 2 wonderful choices, and it's always so hard to choose because they're both wonderful. We have the TEWL mask, and then we have the Flower Power Mask. Today I'm gonna do the TEWL mask. The TEWL mask is all about reducing inflammation, hydrating the skin. It's just fabulous. And because I want this to be really nourishing, I'm gonna mix it with some goat milk yogurt. You could also mix this with your hydrosol, or you could mix this with honey. It's wonderful mixed with honey. So you wanna use equal parts. So I'm gonna take my nice little spoonful of my TEWL. I'm gonna put it in my cup, and then I'm gonna take a nice spoonful of my goat milk yogurt. I'm gonna mix it together, and I'm gonna use a brush because I wanna brush it on, but you could use your fingers to put it on if you choose to. I've got a nice brush here, and I'm just going to brush it onto my skin. Now you can leave this on for 5 to 15 minutes. So you can leave this on and go about your business, do something else, clean up your bathroom if you're in there, clean your counters, keep yourself busy. Or, you know, it would be really nice since this is your facial, is you could do this while you're in the bath, climb into a bath during this while it's sitting on your skin, or you could lay back and close your eyes, get a little meditation in. That's really good for the skin. I'm gonna get my neck. And of course you could do your chest and carry this down as far as you want. Get your earlobes in there. It's pretty gentle, so you can get it up near the eyes without having any problems. And then you just sit back and, you know, do your own. So once the mask has been on for 15 or 20 minutes, you're gonna go ahead and remove it. Now you can remove this with a warm washcloth, or if you want to continue having fun with your skin flour, can go ahead and use your skin flour to remove it. So you're gonna want to make sure if it's starting to dry out, pat more water on so it's good and wet and moist. Turn your power on. Then I'm going to push Sonic, and I'm going to leave it on low because I don't really need that much more exfoliation. I just want to remove the mask from my skin. I've got some tissues on hand because I'm going to be lifting this mask right up off the skin. And I want to have a tissue to wipe as I go. Be sure and get this area under the neck. This gets a lot of stagnation, and this is where we get a little saggy, needs a little extra help. So be sure you're using your skin flour and all your good serums and enzymes in that area. Now to remove the leftovers, you don't have to get it all off with the skin flour. You can go ahead and wet the skin, loosen it up some more. And now I'm going to use my Lush cloth and remove all the residue. All right, now I've got every last speck of green kale off my skin. My skin is feeling amazing. So the next thing I want to do with my skin flour is a lifting treatment. So if you have the MBK curve, you could use the curve at this point, but the skin flour also has a lifting mode, and I want to show you how to do that. So today for a conductive gel, I'm going to be using Botnia's Soothing Repair Mask. I love this for conducting. It has a lot of slip. It's very hydrating, very soothing. I apply it all over my face, the neck, all those areas I want to be lifting. And now, because I want to make sure that this is good and conductive, I'm going to use my conductive spray. So that's from Lemieux Isocell Recovery Solution. I'm going to wet the skin really well. Great. Now I'm going to get my skin flour. I'm going to turn on the power. I'm going to press lifting, and I'm going to press high because we want the highest amount of lifting, right? Now I'm going to take my device and I'm going to turn it so that the buttons are facing downward, so that the flat edge of this is against my skin. So it's really pressing the serums into the skin. It's pressing the conductive gel into my skin. Now I love using this mask as a conductive gel because there's so many beneficial botanical ingredients in here, really for soothing irritated skin, plumping the skin. It's wonderful. So I'm doing lots of lifting movements. Now this massage should go on for 5 minutes. So as the skin starts to dry out, you just re-wet with your Isocell Recovery Solution, and you just keep doing your massage treatment for 5 minutes. This device does not have a timer on it, so you can either guesstimate or you can just use your phone, something like that, to do your timer for 5 minutes. Now, one of the cool things about this mask is that it actually tastes good. You know, with Botnia, all their ingredients are natural, organic, and if you get this in your mouth, like I just did, it actually tastes really good. So that's cool. Now my skin's starting to dry out, so time for another big spritz. Let's get out our Isocell and continue my massage. Now your skin spatula, in case you haven't noticed, has 2 bars, one little bar on each side. You want to always have fingers in contact with that, and you want your fingers to be clean and dry. So I always make sure that the hand I'm using, the handle of my device, is dry, and that I have my fingers on that side bars, on the 2 side bars. All right, I finished 5 minutes with the lifting technique on my skin flour. Now I'm just using a Lush cloth and I'm removing the Soothing Repair Mask from my skin. All right, I've removed the Soothing Repair Mask and my skin feels really nice and firm and plump. I'm so happy. Now my next step in this facial is I really want to feed my skin. The neat thing about doing this facial is that you're going to really learn how to use your skin flour, because we use every single setting in this facial. So my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some of my favorite serums. So of course, you know me, I'm going to start with my Neogenesis Recovery Serum. I use 1 pump and I'm going to apply that to my face and neck. And I'm going to grab Booster and do 1 pump of Booster. And then I'm going to grab from Botnia the Hydrating Serum. This is Botnia's Hyaluronic Serum. I love the texture of this serum. I'm going to do a nice hefty little squirt of it, not quite half of a dropper full. And now I'm going to take, you can do two things. You can use your hydrosol at this point, or you can use isocell recovery solution. I'm going to put some hydrosol in my hand and a little bit of isocell so I get that extra conductivity. And I'm going to wet my skin really well. Nice and wet. Turn on my device. Power it on. I'm going to choose ion negative and I'm going to turn it on high. And I'm going to use that with the downward side, so the button's going downward, the flat edge laying the serums into my skin. And I'm only going to do this until my skin is dry. So it's not like the lifting mode where we went for 5 minutes and we're re-wetting the skin. We're just wanting to make sure that we get these serums really well right down into the skin. This really boosts the efficacy of your serums. Let's get a little around the nose. And really, yeah, my skin is really nice and dry now. I'm going to turn off my device. I'm going to use the Restorative Face Cream from Botnia. This is their anti-aging cream. It has a really nice texture. It's good for mature skin. It's not too oily, but it provides enough moisture, plenty of moisture to the skin. Lots of antioxidants. It's just yummy. Then I'm always concerned about transepidermal water loss. And that's where you lose water from the skin throughout the day. How many times you go partway through the day and around lunch, you look in the mirror and your skin's looking crepey and dry. That's because there's water evaporating off your skin. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Botnia's Wisdom Oil. It's a super punch of antioxidants. And then also though, using a little bit of oil like this on the skin is going to help prevent that transepidermal water loss. So just a little bit, not very much. I'm going to get it onto my fingers because I got a little bit more than I needed. And then I'm just going to pat that on over the surface of my skin. I love the seed oils in this. This wisdom oil is just amazing. So now my skin has this really wonderful glow. Wisdom oil has also a little bit, the herbs have a little bit of a golden color to them, so it gives me a bit of a golden glow, and it feels really great on my skin. Now, if it's nighttime, I'll just go to bed. If it's daytime, I'm going to put on some sunscreen. So I'm probably going to put on a pump of Sorella's Dewdrops or Is Clinical's Extreme Protect, depending on what I'm doing. And my skin is good to go. One last thing I forgot. Don't forget your eye cream. So I've got my Botnia eye cream. Can't forget that. And let's get that right around the eye area. I'm putting that right on the orbital bone, working it into the skin. So this is my Skin Flower Organic Facial using the Botnia products. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want the PDF, head right over to artofskincare.com, reach out to live chat and ask them for the Skin Flower Organic Facial. Have a great day.